Hey guys, got a video for you today. Don't know if this has been done or not, um, but I've never seen it, and I think it's a pretty important topic. So today I'm going to talk about what I think is the number one mistake made by new pipe smokers. This is an important mistake because, one, I've seen this mistake made several times, and making this mistake can contribute to frustration, especially with beginners just starting pipe smoking or just trying pipe smoking for the first time. This can make beginners so frustrated that they don't even want to fool with even trying anymore, because they lose patience with the hobby in general. Um, I've seen this done several times, and I don't know why, but it's the same mistake that I just see out of friends of mine who want to try. I have lots of pipes laying around, so if I have a friend want to try pipe smoking, um, or try smoking pipe tobacco from a briar pipe, I let them borrow one of my pipes and kind of walk them through how to do it and let them, try it out, see if they like it. And this is the one mistake that I see over and over. I don't know why, but I think it's worth addressing. So, number one mistake made by new pipe smokers. New pipe smokers don't seem to know how to light their pipe the right way. It sounds simple, I know, but lighting your pipe, the way you light your pipe initially, is, I think, one of the most important components of smoking a pipe. Some people may say, no, it's how you pack a pipe. There's a good argument for that. But I would say it's how you light your pipe, because the way you light your pipe is going to dictate how long that pipe stays lit on those first two lights. And we'll talk about that in a second, how many lights. But how well and how thoroughly you light your pipe initially is going to dictate whether you get 5 minutes or 20 minutes out of that same light. And there's nothing more frustrating than pipes going out every few minutes. Some of that is due to just forgetting about your pipe and putting it down for a couple minutes. Of course, it's going to go out. But let's assume that you're tending to your bowl and you're taking puffs every couple seconds. The way you light your pipe is going to dictate how long it stays lit. You want your pipe to stay lit for the goal is the entire duration of the bowl, right? Because the more you have to relight the tobacco, the more heat you're introducing to your tongue, and the more you're contributing to what's called tongue bite. It's a popular phenomenon in the pipe smoking community. It's really introducing heat to your tongue through the flame of your lighter, introducing heat to your tongue, and it's burning your tongue and burning the roof of your mouth too. When I first started smoking a pipe, I thought that this was normal for pipe smokers, is for their mouth to be all hot and sore and charred after smoking a bowl. It's not normal. It's something you definitely want to avoid. Now, some of that, how hot the tobacco burns, has to do with the kind of tobacco you're smoking. In particular, sweet tobaccos like natural Virginias or aromatic tobaccos with a lot of sugar added will contribute to a hot burning tobacco, which in turn will contribute to tongue bite. But not all the time. A lot of that has to do with how you smoke it. So how can you avoid tongue bite? One way you can avoid tongue bite is by getting yourself a good initial light when you first start smoking the bowl. Getting a good initial light will contribute to a long pipe smoking session from a single light. That's what you want. So, how many times should you light your pipe? A lot of times you'll hear either 2 or 3 times. Now, if you're doing 2 lights, the first light is what's called the false light or the char light, and I've already done one for the purposes of this video. I've charred the top I've packed my bowl, and I've just charred the top of the tobacco and got it going, got it smoldering, and then set it to the side and let it go out. That's what you want to do. Now, really, if you're smoking any type of tobacco other than flake tobacco, 2 is enough, right? So 1 false light, and then your final light, which is the true light, which is where you're actually gonna light it, and then you're gonna continue smoking it. Now, most tobacco that you buy, hopefully you know what flake tobacco looks like and what that is. If you don't, Google it. But any other kind of tobacco is going to be what's called ribbon cut tobacco or broken flake. That's this right here, using what I'm smoking right now, Boswell's Northwoods. Highly recommend Boswell for all of your tobacco needs. But essentially, if the tobacco is not a flake tobacco, you're free to just use 2 lights. You don't need to do 3. Now, if you are doing flake tobacco, where's that 3rd light? What is that 3rd light considered? That's just another false light. So it's 2 false lights and then your 3rd true light. But for most people are going to smoke ribbon tobacco or broken flake. That's what I just showed you. And for that, all you need is 2 lights. Okay, so once for your false light and for your true light, the mistake that I see is that people don't hold the flame to the tobacco long enough to actually get the full bowl of tobacco lit. Right? That's a problem. You don't want your tobacco half lit, because you're going to have to come back later and relight it. If you don't get it fully lit, it's not going to contribute to a good full burn. Right? So the problem that I see is just holding the tobacco to the flame for a second, taking a few puffs and getting a little wisp of smoke and thinking that that was sufficient. It's not sufficient. When you for both lights, the char light and the true light, you want to hold that flame to the tobacco for long enough and take enough puffs to where you're getting thick, voluminous? You want thick smoke. You want to see a lot of smoke come out. That's a good thing. You want to get that thing fully lit, right? Because you don't have to come back and do it later. Okay. So, for example, I've done my char light, false light. Now I'm going in for my true light, or the final light. That's a ton of smoke. All right, so you saw that even after I appeared to be getting enough smoke, I kept on going for another second and took another couple of puffs. That's just to make sure it gets fully lit. And then, of course, maintain the bowl throughout the pipe smoking session. Don't forget about it. Tamp often. But that's it. That's the number one thing. When you go in for a light, really light it. Get it fully lit. Hold that flame to the tobacco. Get a lot of smoke from it, right? And it may burn a little bit initially, but it's good tobacco. It may burn initially a little bit, but you'd rather have just a little bit of burn up front than all the burn that's going to come from 5, 6, even 3 or 4 lights after the fact, right? So I'm talking, so this is going to go out, but actually maybe not. But I gave this sucker a good strong light, and it's not going to go out probably. Not. I may have to light it again till it's down to about this point. Once you've built up some ash, you'll probably want to light it again, because you're going to have, at about middle point, or right below middle point, there has been so much ash buildup on the top layer that essentially it coats, or it covers the unsmoked tobacco below that, to where you might want to dump a little bit of that out, a little bit of that ash out, because the flame, of course it is hitting the new tobacco, but it's being sort of covered by that thick layer of ash. So I typically like to dump that out a little bit, and that's typically the last light that I do. Once I get down to half or below half the bowl, I'll typically light that up, and that's it. That typically takes me for another 10 or so minutes. But number one mistake, not lighting thoroughly enough, right? So if you're a new pipe smoker, avoid that mistake by holding that flame to the tobacco and really get it smoldering, right? The whole bowl, all of it. And you want to see lots and lots of thick smoke, right? Lots of smoke. It doesn't matter what kind of tobacco you're smoking. If it's going fully, it's going to put out thick smoke, right? Now, some tobacco does put out more or less smoke than others, but in general, get it going, and it's going to save you trouble. It's going to save you some heat on the tongue. It's just going to make the experience more enjoyable. It's also going to make you look like a pro because you'll be able to go for 15, 20, 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes on the same light, and all your friends are going to be like, man, he's a pro. That's right, you are a pro. So give that a try. Don't make the mistake that I see happen so often. And yeah, happy pipe smoking. Cheers.